certainly pay to buy you
Waxy
dash
Fulfuli.
internet.
Junkie?
Zoob! Winoxa. Steve Chaucer did a Wix. Me chow.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today, as you can see by the intro and the title and the thumbnail, we're gonna be doing this boat house type of restaurant. So as I was actually really super duper excited to do this. This was actually one of the builds that I did after I was in the process of making another build. So I'm going to show on the screen right now which build I was making. So yeah, I was making that again, adding to the everlasting backlog. And I was just inspired to make this restaurant type of thing for my celebrities save file. Because what I've noticed is that in my celebrity save file, we have quite a bit of nice houses, but we don't actually have that many eatery places. We have the diner, which is one of them, but we don't really have too much going on in terms of things. And with me, it's really, really sad. But with me, one of my favorite activities to do in The Sims when I'm actually doing bits of gameplay is actually going out into restaurants, especially when I don't own them. I actually hate owning restaurants because nothing ever goes right. And surprisingly, this was the first ever time that I actually went to a restaurant I didn't own in The Sims and things weren't going right. But what I love doing in terms of gameplay is going to restaurants. When Dinah chooses to work, going to restaurants can be one of the funnest things you can really do in the game, because it's similar to what I said before when I was doing that fashion build, where it's like it's just the randomness of it all. It's stuff that you can't necessarily control. So of course you can order whatever you want, and maybe you've curated the restaurant, but there's this other element of you just see all these different townies that you never expected to come in. And also another thing that does normally occur when you go into restaurants is that you see other Sims that you have curated go in, and it's like, oh, so this is what you guys are doing when I'm not, like, you know, playing with you. So yeah, I really, 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 really adore using Dine Out when it comes to doing gameplay stuff. But surprisingly, like I said before, this time around it wasn't working the way that I would have liked it to work. For example, when it came to what was going on, yeah, so we ordered food and then the food was just not arriving. And I think it's like a combination. It could also be the update, because when I first went onto my game and I went into the actual gameplay aspects of it, and I was choosing which household I was going to take to this lot so I can do the cinematic intro and the playthrough, I realized that, oh my gosh, my UI is broken. But good thing, a top tip if anyone wants to hear it, is that whenever there's a Sims 4 update, always, if you're checking which of your mods is broken, always take out the UI extension first, because 9 times out of 10 it is the UI extension that just needs to be updated. And I think it's the creator of the UI extension is really on it when it comes to updating their mods. So normally you'll be able to go onto their Patreon and download it straight away. But what I did is that I have different batches in my game from before another update completely junked up my UI system. So I had like this whole batch system, because that's one of the ways I found out how to detect if you've got any broken mods. I know there's like last exception and stuff like that, but that tells me like most of my mods are broken, and most of them I'm willing to keep broken in the game because they've either not been updated or I just don't feel the I have 12 gigabytes of mods in my game. I rather not go through all of them and update all of them. And Curse Forge sometimes tells me if I have mods that are outdated, but normally I just stick to doing the batch system. And the batch system, how I normally do it, one, that there's an issue within mods where sometimes you can't have a specific mod or a specific CC being too many folders deep into your mods file. So what I normally do is take out any of the folded mods. So for example, if the clothes like huge, like clothes things, like they're not merged clothes packages, but they're either furniture or clothes. So for example, I would say if they've got, I don't think this creator, I don't think Felix and Andre do unmerged, but I think they do merged CC. But say Felix Andre did unmerged, their entire basics CC pack they have would be individual packages that's in a folder. So then you could not put that in another folder within your mods folder, or your game won't detect the mod. So sometimes you just have to leave them as they are and then organize the other individual mods. Like if you've got individual hairs, then you just do a hair file. You don't do, sometimes you can't do male sims, female sims, and then neutral, and then hairs, or then hairs and then accessories, because when you go too deep in your mod folder, it can't detect it anymore. So when you're trying to detect that broken CC, it's better to normally just take out those mods, not take out those folders that have already been like folded, and then batch up anything you have left. And normally every single time I do the batches, I think I've got 8 batches. Normally when I do the batches, I just realize that what's normally missing, what's normally causing issues within my game is the script files. And the script, so normally it's not hair and clothes or furniture. If they're going to cause issues to your game, they normally will cause, like, do you know when you've got that red and white question mark thing within your game? They'll normally cause that, but they won't only cause like actual like UI issues or lagging. Well, from my experience, they don't. But what will cause issues is script. My mic was like slowly like drifting to my chest. But what will cause issues is the script. So normally just take out UI first, or take out MC Commander first, or anything like the extreme violence mod or anything like that. Take out those ones first, but UI always first. And yeah, it will save you a lot of time, because that's what I had to take out and update it. And I found out, yeah, okay, my game is working perfectly fine. But I don't really know too much about what happened in the Sims 4 update. I know we got onesies, but I don't know too much of what's going on. Some people saying the game is running better. I don't know about that. To be fair, I'm not a gameplay user that often, so I wouldn't know too much about that. But yeah, we got an update. I saw it last night as I was trying to finish this build. Actually, I sat on my desk and I was looking at my build for a good, I think, 3 hours, and there was no motivation, because with me, shells, exteriors, love doing them. I think that's why I've got so many unfinished builds, because when it comes to the interior design, it does feel very repetitive to me, or I feel extremely uninspired. Like when I look at them, I'm just like, oh, I don't like how it looks. And with this particular build, since even though when I do traditional builds, or more older builds, or builds with more like distinctive architecture, like the Georgian apartments, is easier for me to do because it still has this minimalistic kind of element to, like, if you look inside of the Georgian apartment build, it's quite simple, though it is Georgian or sometimes French inspired. It is still quite like minimal. There's not a lot going on. And with this, the inside of this restaurant, there isn't a lot going on, but I don't know for why, but whatever reason, I was just struggling so hard with the interior. And it was struggling so hard because it was really hard getting inspiration, because I've never been on a boat and you will never catch me on a boat. But it was also really difficult just because I've never been to one, so I couldn't pull any real life experiences from it. And then it's not normally something that's like documented a lot compared to a house where you see loads of houses. It's not something that's documented a lot, but it is something that exists a lot. So it's not something you can necessarily just make up like a magical fairy cabin. You can't just make that up because no one knows, no one can really dictate to you what that is supposed to look like. Your mind can't dictate to you what that's supposed to look like because it's not a thing, compared to something that is a thing, such as this houseboat restaurant, where your mind is like, even though you've never been to one, you're like, okay, this doesn't look quite right. What's going on with it? This doesn't look quite right. And it borderline, it looks like a restaurant, a boat restaurant, but it also can just be a yacht if you want to make it into your yacht, because it does look like that. I think one of the fun things about this build, when creating it, was just doing the exterior. I just love doing the exterior. The exterior is my favorite part all the time. And just creating this world around it. So I never focused too much on the pier that actually connects to the boat, this in the intro, but that was also an aspect that I created, like getting all the cars from debug and everything like that. The way that I kind of like shimmied over it, it's almost like it wasn't even part of the build. Like I built it on straight up water, but no, as you can see in the beginning, as I was going off on a rant about UI extensions, I did create the pier, and that was a really fun aspect to do, because I am so proud of how that ended up coming out, because it really does look like a pier. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. As you can see here, I'm struggling with stairs yet again. One day, I think I'm gonna, no, actually, I was gonna say one day I was gonna say I was gonna make some kind of build where the stairs are like the main focus. Like everything has to coordinate with what's going on with the stairs, because normally the stairs is just, I want to have stairs in, and normally sometimes it gets really annoying with the how functional that can be. But then I realized, one, I don't think a lot of people put that much thought when it comes to stair placement. They just make sure it's functional and then they move on with the day. So yeah, that's what I do. I don't think it's gonna, I would say it's not my strong point when it comes to these things. Yeah, but I think when I was looking over this build, there's a lot of pauses as well, because I don't know why it took me so long making this build. Because realistically, this should have took me an hour and a half to do, but I think it took me like 2 hours and a half. And the majority of the issues was, one, the boat underneath the build, and then to the interior. As you can see here, I am fighting with what on earth the interior of this houseboat should look like. I originally wanted to go for red, and then I wanted to go for cream with kind of modern walls and everything like that, and nothing was happening. I love having boats and hotels look very, very old. It's one of my favorite aspects of hotels and boats. So I really wanted to lean into that kind of aesthetic, that kind of old money aesthetic. Like this was an old boat for some rich people, but then they bought it and decided to make it into a restaurant, and it remained forever docked at this pier. So that's what I was trying to go for. So I was really trying to force myself away from like spa day, jet growing together, although those packs that normally give me quite modern looking floors and wallpaper, but then I ended up sticking with this. No, I didn't. I actually changed this later on. Also, that boat, you probably didn't see what boat I picked at the bottom or where I got that from. It's a base game boat from the debug menu. It's because I didn't record it, because I think I spent like, what, like 30 minutes probably trying to look for a boat that can go underneath this this shell, just because I planned this shell before I really planned what boat I'm supposed to be putting underneath it. So you can see I originally had this sled. Thank you for Snowy Escape, but then I realized that's going to be far too wide. I want this boat restaurant to be quite more like narrow, quite portrait looking. So it ended up causing me to go through every single boat I could see in the debug section, which is not fun, since nothing in debug is labeled at all, except for probably what pack it comes from. And no, with the Sims, it's never, oh, you'll find boat stuff in Island Living. No, this boat is from base game, and I found boats from City Living. So yeah, it was a bit difficult on that front, but besides that, it was mainly finding the boat and doing the interior design, but doing the exterior, doing the roofing, all of that came so easy to me, was so fun to do. Would love to do it again. And what I wanted to say before is with this build, if you guys download it, it's got no CC. Look at me. It's got no CC. If you guys do decide to download it, I would literally not be offended if you decided to strip the entire inside and just use it as a shell. Because I don't want to make another boat anytime soon. Because as fun as it was fun in the aspect of I've never done it. So it was fun to do something different, like compared to the cabin, compared to the other houses I do. Like I've got a camper I'm gonna could bring out later and a trailer and all of these things. I've done these before. I just never recorded them. But doing a boat, like a boat, not even, the last time I did a boat was in The Sims 3 when we got to do houseboats, but I never really got to do something like this. So architecturally, it was really, really fun to do. It was really interesting to see how it goes, but I don't think I want to make another one anytime soon. So if you choose to download this from the gallery and just make this into your own type of restaurant, or make this into a store, or even make this into a house, like please tag me in your creations, because I would love to see what you do. And if you would like me to strip it all off, like just strip the insides and have it as a shell and upload that as a shell in case you don't know what parts you want to remove for your build, tell me in the comments and I will create a stripped version for you guys. Or if you want me to renovate it into a house, it's very big, so you could potentially have it become a house as well. Yeah, but then again, you saw another pause where you probably didn't see me change the interior walls and the carpets. That's because it was something that took me so long, but I thought I can't record this process because it's gonna be like a good 5 minutes of sped up, but probably in real life like 30 minutes of me just going through all these wallpapers. You're gonna see an aspect of my indecisiveness when it comes to doing the curtains, because I do the exact same process. And I did a little bit of it as well when it came to doing the tables, because I didn't realize how many cloth tables that we have in the game. But when I found them, I really wish we had. Well, actually, I don't necessarily wish we had cloth tables for the outside, like these bar stool tables, which are also quite hidden. I didn't realize we had so many bar stool tables, but yeah, it took me ages to think of what I wanted to do in terms of these tables. But once I found the tables, that's when I started recording again. And I was like, okay, let me record the process all over again. But the curtains, I think you're going to see a tiny bit of indecisiveness with the curtains. We have these really love. I think the views here, by the way, the sunset, I didn't get to capture it because, my Sims would be in stupid. Okay, one thing I'm going to say though about this build is that if you do use it as a restaurant, your waiters are going to be wearing their swim clothes. And probably, even though I've set the settings for this restaurant as, I set the settings for this restaurant as formal, your sim guests will also be wearing like swim costumes and stuff like that. Is because Sims, for the life of me, cannot resist going for a swim. Ever since the Sims said, okay, you guys can swim anywhere, they were like, yeah, bet, we're gonna swim anywhere. So as they come to this really fancy establishment, they'll just jump to the side of the water and just begin swimming, and then you will have to force them to come inside, then change their attire back to formal and have them do what you want them to do. It's not that much of an issue because you can just get them to change their outfits, but it does get annoying when you're sitting down and you're just like, oh, hello, waiter, in your, swim trunks. So I love that. I love that. But yeah, it's not too much of an issue really. I think it will probably be more bothersome if you guys do like videos with them, but in realistic, like just on the day normal gameplay, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And yeah, here you can see me be indecisive with the curtains, but yeah, I think we're coming to near the end of me doing this build. It was so much fun building this houseboat, house restaurant thing. And it was so much fun editing it. That music at the beginning and the music you're gonna see back with the house tour. It's why do I keep calling it house tour restaurant tour? I just really love it. Honestly, I really love it. This was the most adventurous in terms of what I used for the architecture. So if there are any issues, please tell me about them. I have play tested it and everything should be functioning as it is. It's just the waiters are being very slow, but I don't know why they're being slow. So that's not necessarily something I can fix, but I feel like everything else should be functional and fine. So yeah, so honestly, I really did enjoy doing this, and I would love a lot of suggestions on what kind of build I should do next. Anything any more architecturally advanced. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like. I hope you guys subscribe and comment down below anything else you would like to see from me. I love your comments. The more the merrier, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.